Deontay Wilder, skinny motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a skinny ass nigga, man. At the weigh-in, he came in at 214 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And then Luis Ortiz came in at 241. Ortiz weighs around the same that he normally does for every other fight, so there's no difference there. While Wilder kind of came in a little bit more light, which tells me that the game plan will probably be to use movement, which is exactly what he needs to do. Utilize movement, provide angles, keep the jab pumping. No matter what, you hit or miss it, you got to keep that jab pumping. And you got to use those feints, man, to shoot off that straight right hand. What's good? It's your boy 2K here. Shout out to the movement and everybody who's moving with us. Man, your boy just stepped out of the office. If you hear them gears switching, that's why I'm in the whip. But I'm still about to give y'all motherfuckers the real deal. Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. Man, this is a fight that I've been asking for the last couple of years now. You know what I'm saying? Ever since Luis Ortiz beheaded that nigga Bryant Jennings and sent his ass into obscurity. You know what I'm saying? I've been wanting Deontay Wilder to step up and take this particular fight. And tomorrow night is exactly what we're about to get. Deontay Wilder will be coming into this fight defending the WBC title, looking at least for his 7th defense of that title, right? He has 6 prior defenses. Now, y'all all know, however long you've been following my channel, however long you just can, you know, come to my channel and view videos here and there, however type of supporter you are, you know by now that at one point in time, I was a big Deontay Wilder critic. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that stemmed from the fact that you got the most prestigious title and you're not really out there trying to promote yourself to the degree a heavyweight champion should be promoted. You see what I'm saying? Now, he's got a rap on that shit now. He's doing a whole lot of talking now. You know, he's out in the media. He's showing his face a lot. You know, he's putting a lot of pizzazz in what he does, you know, to get people's attention. He's doing this shit now. But 3 years ago, he wasn't really doing that. And it seemed to me that he was okay fighting the Eric Molinas, the Johan Duhapases, you know, the Archer Spilkas. He was okay fighting them cats. You know what I'm saying? And what he should have done was he should have supplemented for what his management team wasn't doing very well, and that's promoting his name. Lou DiBella is typically a pretty decent promoter. Hell, this year the fucking Boxing Writers Association of America, the BWAA, they gave Lou DiBella Promoter of the Year. I disagree with that shit because he's doing a terrible job with Deontay Wilder and some other fighters underneath the Heyman stable. But typically, you know, not counting this year, Lou DiBella's a decent promoter. But he's been doing a terrible job, man, with Deontay Wilder. There's no reason why a guy who is the heavyweight champion of the world, holding the most prestigious of the 4 titles, right, has knocked out everyone he's faced. Yes, he's 39-0 with 38 knockouts, but the one guy that went the distance, he knocked him the fuck out recently. I mean, the nigga, like I said, was doing quadricep stretches. You know what I'm saying? The nigga was doing the limbo and shit in the ring, right? Halfway hanging out the fucking ring. So, if he's knocked out every fucking body he's faced, honestly, it shouldn't really matter who he's faced. He's still knocking him out, right? Who's still getting that? Who's been getting that push as this major knockout artist? And that particular guy hadn't really fought anyone until he brought up a welterweight. That's Gennady Golovkin, right? So he's been getting the push, even though he's been knocking out your Gregors Proxas, your Dominic Wades, right? Your Willie Monroes, before Willie Monroe got the little buzz that he got before losing to Billy Joe Sanders, right? I mean, he knocked out Willie Monroe when nobody knew who the fuck he was. They only knew his uncle. You know what I'm saying? So Gennady Golovkin has been getting the right type of push because he's knocking everybody out. And Deontay Wilder should have been getting the same fucking thing, because he's doing the same He's performing the same way in the same dramatic type of fashion. And actually, Deontay Wilder is sleeping motherfuckers better than Gennady Golovkin is, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? If you look at how brutal the knockouts are, right? You compare and contrast, Deontay Wilder is doing it worse. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, man, I just want to drop a little bit on that promotional thing, but it's been bad, and even the promotion of this fight has been bad, man. This shit should be all over the fucking place, man. Everybody should be talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Casuals, you know, niggas that watch golf only and shit should be talking about this fight, but nobody's talking about it, and that's just another testament to the bad promotion, right? Anyway, man, this is gonna be his toughest test, and there's a lot of casual niggas out there. You know what I'm saying? And let me put it this way, man. I don't want to say niggas is casuals. I think cats are emotionally invested in Deontay Wilder. And I get it, you know. You really don't have a platform where you have to be objective. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a lot of cats listening to you, you know, tuning into your YouTube channel and shit here and there, you know, trying to get real objective knowledge, you know, out of the sport of boxing. You don't have that, so you can afford to be emotionally invested in a fighter, right? You can afford to basically, you know, marginalize a fighter of Luis Ortiz's abilities, right? But you can't just say, yeah, Deontay Wilder gonna knock him out because he got that power. Now, that may very well be true, right? But if you want me to do a breakdown of this shit, I can't sit here and tell you with 20 plus years of boxing knowledge, right, that I'm getting ready to forward on this video. I can't sit here and tell you all that shit goes out the window because of Deontay Wilder's power. I can't tell you that shit, right? Luis Ortiz is one of the most gifted heavyweights in the division, and in my opinion, skill-wise, he is skillfully the best heavyweight in the division, right? I'm gonna throw a number at you. 368. That is the number of amateur bouts Luis Ortiz had, right? And he's fought every type of style you can think of under the Cuban amateur pedigree, right? He's fought motherfuckers that are slick. He's fought motherfuckers that are very defensive. He's fought motherfuckers that can counter you very well. He's fought brawlers. He's fought heavy hitters, right? He has that experience. Now, the knock on it is this. Luis Ortiz was never successful at the international amateur level, right? I mean, I think he won a gold medal in an international tournament, but he didn't garner the attention or the recognition, you know, on an international level, hence why he didn't make it to the Olympics, right? I mean, he's fought cats like Mike Perez. I think he lost to Adelaner Solis, who I think he lost to him like 4 or 5 times in the amateurs, you know what I'm saying? And if y'all don't remember who Adelaner Solis is, he's one of the more decorated Cuban amateur fighters out there. You know, he actually fought the great Felix Savon and beat him 2 out of 3 times. You know what I'm saying? So his amateur pedigree was highly decorated. And Luis Ortiz was in the ring with that cat 5 fucking times. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's been around the block and he has the experience. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, but it's hard to look at that, right? It's hard to look at what Luis Ortiz brings into the ring. You know, he has much better footwork than almost everybody in the division. I think the only other guy that will compare to Luis Ortiz footwork-wise would be David Haye. And I see a lot of niggas saying that Luis Ortiz is slow, and I know where that's coming from. It's coming from the fact that you're watching the fights against David Allen, right? You're watching the fights against Malik Scott. You know, you're watching the fights against the cat he just fucking beat with the hairy-ass chest. You know what I'm saying? You're watching that shit. The way Luis Ortiz fights, if he doesn't have to put too much effort into it, he won't. If the nigga only needs to put in 10% of his skill, that's all he gonna put in there. If he feels that's all he needs to do to win. Shit, I do the same thing on the basketball court, real talk. If I'm about to play with a bunch of niggas that I know are not on my level, I'm not gonna overexert myself. I'm only gonna put out what I need to do to get that W. And that's exactly how Luis Ortiz fights, right? So go back and watch him fight Bryant Jennings, and you'll see a whole different fucking arsenal of what Luis Ortiz is able to provide. He's very dynamic. The motherfucker can fight from the outside and he can fight from the inside. Hell, he was beating the shit out of Bryant Jennings on the inside, right? Go back and watch his fight against that Argentinian cat before fucking Bryant Jennings. I can't remember his name. Only thing I remember is the nigga gave him an angle, right? He gave him an angle, slipped his punch, and knocked him out with a left hook. The way that he was able to pivot and provide that angle is something that no other heavyweight is doing right now. You see what I'm saying? That type of degree of elite footwork, other heavyweights aren't doing that shit. And Deontay Wilder hasn't had to see that yet. You see what I'm saying? So, also, Luis Ortiz has the reach advantage. I don't think a lot of people understand that. Deontay Wilder's 3 inches taller. You know, he's listed at 6'7". I see some niggas out there. I don't know where y'all get y'all's information, man. Y'all make 2K crack up, dog. I don't know where y'all motherfuckers be getting y'all's information, but I've heard niggas say Luis Ortiz was 5'10", you know, 5'11". Man, Luis Ortiz is 6'4", man. He's 3 inches shorter than Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? And he has a 1-inch reach advantage. And he has an excellent jab. And he's known for knocking niggas the fuck out. It's that beautiful left hook at close range, or at least at mid-range distance, right? He also has a beautiful straight left hand that he can throw very well, right? I don't know, man. It's just the dynamic that Luis Ortiz brings into the ring. This is going to be a very tough fight for Deontay Wilder, unless the great equalizer comes into play, right? And y'all know what the great equalizer is. It's that straight right hand. Literally only the straight right hand. Deontay Wilder is almost like the nigga being training only working on his right hand and not working on his left. You know what I'm saying? It's the straight right hand. That particular punch is what is killing motherfuckers. Literally making niggas comatose. I mean, I just seen that nigga Gerald Washington still in ICU. You know what I'm saying? So, Romain Stavern ass was over there in the iron lung. You know what I'm saying? He's killing these cats with that shit, right? But this is the thing. Those guys are there to be hit, right? Gerald Washington actually was beating the shit out of Deontay Wilder. He was beating him to the punch, right? I won't say he's beating the shit out of him, but he was outclassing him. Let me say that. He was outclassing Deontay Wilder for 4 straight rounds, beating him to the punch. Now, a lot of people say, it's because of, you know, he had the hand injury. That was his right hand. The injury to his right hand had no bearing on him throwing the jab. You see what I'm saying? So, he was being out-jabbed and beaten to the punch because he was being out-jabbed and beaten to the fucking punch. Had nothing to do with his injury. And obviously it had nothing to do with it because in the 5th round, he finally let the shit go, right? He threw it a couple of times early on, but he missed, right? Gerald Washington had a good game plan, and he was winning the fight. Now, the boxing ability of Gerald Washington is nowhere near the boxing ability of Luis Ortiz. Nowhere near, right? Also, you got guys like Artur Szpilka, who, in my opinion, was in a very close fight with Deontay Wilder, so much so that I had to fight a draw at the time of the knockout, right? And it was a beautiful ass counter right uppercut on the inside that literally put that nigga Artur Szpilka in a comatose state. That nigga was out of there, bro, face down. You know what I'm saying? But my point is, these guys, these lower class guys that don't have the skill set defensively or offensively as a Luis Ortiz, they were able to be in close fights with Deontay Wilder, right? And remember, there was a guy that was not knocked out, you know, completely, like, face down, ass up, you know what I'm saying? In the assume the position status, he wasn't in that. And that's Johann Duhaupas. They stopped that fight with him standing, right? But of course, Alexander Povetkin was able to sleep him. But my point is, Deontay Wilder didn't stop everybody in that, putting them in comatose states and knocking them niggas out the ring and shit. He didn't stop everybody like that, right? And at the same time, Johann Duhaupas, he made a very good account of himself. I think in that fight, Deontay Wilder's eye was swollen, right? I don't know, man. On paper, right? And me using every bit of boxing knowledge that I have and that I possess in order to pick a fucking winner, it says Luis Ortiz all day, right? But the big elephant in the room is Deontay Wilder's straight right hand, man. It's gonna be difficult, to basically gauge in this prediction video whether or not Luis Ortiz will be able to take that punch. And it goes the other way as well. Luis Ortiz is what, 28-0 with 24 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? Can Deontay Wilder take his punch? But the bigger elephant, of course, is Deontay Wilder's right hand, right? Man, what Deontay Wilder is gonna need to do, he cannot let Luis Ortiz get off first, right? He's going to have to pump the jab every fucking second to turn Luis Ortiz into a strictly inside fighter, right? He's going to have to do that. He's going to even have to use feints. Deontay Wilder don't feint very well, man, because he doesn't really have the fundamentals down. The fundamentals of boxing, he doesn't have them mastered. So he doesn't feint very well. And even if he does, he doesn't know when to do it at the proper times, right? Feinting is going to be a major thing for Deontay Wilder in this fight, in my opinion, especially if he hits Luis Ortiz and Ortiz is able to roll with some of his shots, not allow them to land flush. That's going to make it more difficult. So he's going to have to, basically fake doing something, allow Luis Ortiz to bite, right? And then be able to shoot the shot that he's looking for. That's what the fuck he's gonna need to do. And that's gonna be very key in this fight. Also, man, he's gonna have to move a lot better than he normally does. I've seen him give a couple guys angles. And again, those are guys that don't have the footwork of a Luis Ortiz, right? But he's gave a lot of these different guys angles. He's done a good job at doing it. But he's gonna have to really do it in this fight because Luis Ortiz is going to be trying to move, right? If he does pump the jab and keep Luis Ortiz guessing, then the next thing that Ortiz is going to be doing is like, okay, let me get on the inside of this motherfucker. And Luis Ortiz has decent head movement when he wants to use it, right? Like I said, don't watch fucking David Allen, Malik Scott, and the hairy chest nigga, you know what I'm saying? And then derive a conclusion from that. No, go back and watch the fights that fucking matter, right? And when he wants to fight a certain way, Luis Ortiz can do it. So, I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a tough fight. And like I said before on a different broadcast anyway, Luis Ortiz can win several different ways. But we're literally only banking on one way Deontay Wilder wins, right? And just for that, I gotta go with Luis Ortiz if it goes to a decision. But I will be like my man Dwyer and hedge the play. You know what I'm saying? I got Luis Ortiz by decision, Deontay Wilder by knockout. That's my prediction. I think that eventually that right hand will land. And it's just really a matter of what happens next. You know what I'm saying? Is Luis Ortiz going to be stunned to the point where he's not going to recover? Is he going to be stunned and then recovers and then realizes, shit, nigga, I'm not trying to get hit by that again, and then becomes too shy to want to engage, which will dramatically change the outcome of the fight? I mean, there's a whole lot of different variables that can happen from Luis Ortiz getting hit by that shot. Or the third thing, like I said before, he could take the shot and now we got a fucking fight. So I'm going to go with, like I said, Luis That nigga Deontay Wilder's skinny motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a skinny ass nigga, man. At the weigh-in, he came in at 214 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And then Luis Ortiz came in at 241. Ortiz weighs around the same that he normally does for every other fight, so there's no difference there. While Wilder kind of came in a little bit more light, which tells me that the game plan will probably be to use movement, which is exactly what he needs to do. Utilize movement, provide angles, keep the jab pumping. No matter what, you hit or miss it, you got to keep that jab pumping, and you got to use those feints, man, to shoot off that straight right hand. I think that's probably the game plan that he's looking at, coming in a little bit lighter. But man, that nigga's skinny, bro. You know what I'm saying? Dude, 6'7", 214. You know, y'all, my listeners know I'm an avid weightlifter. I'm fucking 5'11" and 3/4, motherfucker. I'm gonna get my 3/4. 5'11" and 3/4, and I'm 220. So that tells you how skinny this nigga is, man. So let's hope that it's not an inside game, bro. He gonna get bullied. And Luis Ortiz is an old motherfucker, man. He's 38 years old on paper, but in reality, the nigga 52. You know what I'm saying? He got that old man strength. If that shit becomes an inside fight, bro, I'm picking Luis Ortiz to win the strength battle there. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. YouTube, do what you do in the comment section. Be real. Let me know what you think about this fight. Who you got winning it. This is real talk for real fans. One.